Hey, this is John from Alloy 211. In this video, we're going to be comparing the paper penetrative powers of the 9mm 115 grain Cor-Bon P jacketed hollow point against the Federal 124 grain P jacketed hollow point, as well as comparing them to your standard 115 grain Winchester target load and what I'll call a 124 grain NATO style loading, as I load it myself and it's not an actual NATO surplus round. And you might be saying, why paper? Well, paper is a media that I have available to me, and although it can't really correspond, say, to a real world media, say like a person or something like that, unless maybe you're John Lithgow in a Denzel Washington movie and you're in a prison knife fight. But other than that, the paper really doesn't equate to necessarily a real world media, but it does give us a baseline to compare each round to each other in the same media, in fact, in the same box. So without further ado, let's go ahead and do some shooting, and then we'll come back and we'll pull this lid off of here and we'll see how far these bullets went in. So we're going to start off with firing the 115 grain Winchester target load into the right hand side of the box, and then we will fire the 115 grain Cor-Bon P jacketed hollow point to the left hand side of the box. Same as the last time, 124 grain full metal jacket on the right, and then the 124 grain Federal Hydra-Shok P hollow point on the left. And we're back to see the results of our paper penetration test between our Cor-Bon 115 grain and our Federal Hydra-Shok. But before we get into that, something that I thought was interesting and I've noticed, and as you probably noticed, I shot through a t-shirt in the video. It's something I like to do before I shoot to the paper, whenever I shoot things like that, because I always want to see kind of what it'd do to a t-shirt or cloth, because that's what people tend to shoot through. Well, I mean, anyway, something I did notice and that was interesting to me, that the hollow points really seem to take out a hole, like they cut a hole in the fabric as they go through. It's kind of hard to tell, maybe you can't see, you can see my pinky sticking on that one. But if you look here, these are the full metal jackets. Now they don't really leave much of a hole, it's just a tiny tear more than a hole. Whereas the hollow points distinctly cut a hole out of the t-shirt. So that's kind of interesting. I mean, that is, can't really see because there's not light behind it, but if you could see with some light, hold on, as I mess everything up below this, let me actually grab one of my lights and see if I can show you. You know, that doesn't really illustrate, well, it kind of illustrates it. As you can see, that is a very round hole. And then over here, this is one of the full metal jackets. Not such a round hole, kind of more of a tear. Just an interesting observation. Anyway, back to the measurements of the hollow points, which is probably the reason why you wanted to watch the video in the first place. So, got things rolling all over the place. You know, you would not believe how hard it was just to get those bullets to stay in place. Let's go ahead and start with the first bullet that we shot, our 115 grain range round Winchester. Penetrated about 2 7/16 inches. As you can see, I also added the feet per second above each one, so that way we can get an idea of the velocities of each round. But penetrated 2 7/16 inches, 62 millimeters, compared to the 115 grain Cor-Bon hollow point, which penetrated 2 7/8 inches, or about 74 millimeters, at 1,350 feet per second, which is significantly more than the 1,190 that the full metal jacket was going at. Now if we come over here and look at our Federal Hydra-Shok 124 grain P round, it penetrated 2 3/4 inches, or 69 millimeters, at about 1,120 feet per second, which is pretty fast for a 124 grain bullet. Let's go ahead and look at our 124 grain NATO style full metal jacket, traveling at 1,200 feet per second It only traveled, and it's kind of hard to tell because I screwed it up writing upside down, but 2¼ inches or 58 millimeters, which really was not nearly as much as what I thought it would. I thought that this would penetrate more, or I didn't necessarily think, but I thought it might penetrate more than our 115 grain bullet because it is traveling slightly faster and weighs a lot more. So, but it didn't. Let's go ahead and take the lid off our box and see if we can dig these bullets out real quick. Okay, so we'll start with our 115 grain 9 millimeter. Okay. Oh, I found it. Oh, I found it. Okay, I'm gonna set that off to the side. Now let's go ahead and dig out our hollow point here. Ooh. Wow, that definitely did a lot more damage. Oh, well, maybe I'll dig my hollow point out. I don't know. Ugh. How much of it is in here? Okay. Oh, found something. Oh no, that was paper. Okay. Keep looking. Wow. Okay. Oh, finally. Oh yeah, that. Now I see why that took a minute. See if there's anything else in there. Okay, now I'm not going to pull all that out. You can't quite see down there, but there's a lot of little pieces of lead down there. So let's go ahead and pull out our 124 grain full metal jacket. It's a much better way to do that. Oh, I'm gonna have a mess to clean up. Ooh. Wow. There's that. Okay, wow. There is, oh, there it is. Our lid. Okay. Now, that's what's left of our bullets. Here's our 115 grain 9mm Winchester target load. Pretty intact, actually. Let's take a better look. Just kind of mushroomed. Here's our 115 grain 9mm Cor-Bon P. As you can see, it does have some of the t-shirt there in the hollow point. Now there are also a lot of little pieces down the bottom of the box. Okay, let's look at our 124 grain full metal jacket NATO style round. Still seems to have retained a lot of the bullet. Most of it does seem to be there. So that's, well, not really surprising. It's actually a lot less of it there. Well, it's probably all there. Maybe it's all there. But it's much more deformed than the Winchester jacketed hollow point. And then finally our 124 grain Federal Hydra-Shok P+, which has been obliterated. Now I'm going to go ahead and dig through the box a little more after I'm done with the video and see if I can find any other remnants of this, but that really doesn't even look much like a bullet anymore. So what does this tell us? Well, not much. That you only need about 3 or 4 inches of paper to stop a 9mm bullet, even a P. But it also does tell you that a t-shirt can get a little bit inside of your hollow point if you get shot with it. Other than that, I don't know what it tells you. It's just kind of an interesting comparison between the different rounds. And it's something I wanted to do. I happen to have big boxes of paper and some 9mm laying around. So like I said, thought it'd be interesting to compare. If you liked the video, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up. If you watched some other videos and you enjoyed those too, I'd really appreciate if you subscribe. So thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day.